real quick, last week I talked about why your song sucks. And I put that title out there because I thought, oh, if, maybe I'd have some more engagement by um, stirring the nest, so to speak. And that did happen to a very small degree, not too bad. Um, but just to like put a lid on that from last week, I was just simply saying that uh, yes, there are no rules necessarily to songwriting, but if you want your songs to be accepted by the masses, I guess there's formulas that you can follow to make that happen. And it's not just for film and TV, it's just for music in general. Like what really makes a great song, lyrics and melody. Um, is a song relatable to people, or is it very, very specific to a certain subject? Those kind of things are things to consider. And then how well is the music produced? Sonically, how well does that sound? And all those things are important. And um, I've just all I've done is got advice from people who do it on a much larger scale than I do, because that's what I'm aiming for. So um, that's pretty much what I was saying. So you could do what you will with that information. Um, Success. I get asked this question a lot. Like, how did I get successful? And it's an interesting perspective because from what my vantage point is, or from what I'm trying to accomplish, I'm always working on the next thing. Sometimes I feel like I haven't reached success yet, but to some other people, what I do that looks successful, and maybe that would be successful for them, and on and on and on. And I look at my peers and mentors and think they're really, really successful at what they do. So I'm looking at them as a definition of success, where they themselves might think, that they might be thinking the same thing of themselves, that they're not that successful. So I guess you could bring in the word contentment. Like, are you content with whatever level of thing? And I'm not talking just about music. Um, we all have different careers and jobs and things that we do to provide for our families. If you're not married and don't have kids, you're providing for yourself, you know, just wherever you are on that timeline. So it's like trying to describe what success is to begin with, to try to put a point on that. And another drummer friend of mine, Bart Robley, was doing a similar podcast yesterday. It wasn't about success. He was talking about business and emotion, like the emotionals, keep separating the emotion out of music business. He said it much better than I just did. But I don't know if this phrase was unique to Bart or if he borrowed it, because I couldn't find anything. But he said, let's see, where did I write it down? He said, success is found at the bottom of a pile of mistakes. And I thought that was pretty accurate. Because as we go along, especially, I mostly relate this stuff to music because that's the world I live in. And but I think it's relatable to whatever your pursuit is. So it's not just music specific. But when you try things and do things, and the outcome isn't what you think it is, um, you think, well, okay, that wasn't the path to take, so you make a course correction, hopefully. Because if you try doing the same thing over and over and over and get the same result, that's crazy. But you try different things and try different things, and along the way, there's failures that come along. And so um, you know I've had a lot of failures, and I'm sure I have more coming, because that's life. But that's what my buddy Bart had said was, success is found at the bottom of a pile of mistakes. And I don't know if that's true for everyone, but it's definitely relatable to my situation. So then I looked up in the dictionary at what the definition of success is. And here's what the dictionary had to say. Um, One was the accomplishment of an aim or purpose, like you accomplish something that you set out to do. That would be success. Another definition of success was the desired outcome of an undertaking. Um, so I would say we had a successful video shoot. We set out to shoot a music video. Everything went very, very smoothly. There was no hiccups along the way. There was no malfunctioning of computers, no malfunctioning of cameras. Um, the building was available to us when they said it was going to be. Nobody bothered us. Everything just ran really, really smooth. And so that would be a success, right? So then you just keep building a bunch of successful situations, I guess you could say. So that's what I thought maybe that meant by the desired outcome of an undertaking. I think, let's see, I do have one thing that I want to talk about specifically that might take me off on a separate trail, but so what is a person's mindset for success then? What do you have to have in mind in order to have success? I see my buddy Stan Latham is here. Stan, this might be just a divine appointment or situation, seeing that Stan is here. I used to work for Stan years and 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 years ago when Stan first started his landscaping business. And Stan had a picture on his refrigerator, and it said, "Only follow those who have been where you want to be," or something very close to that. And I remember seeing that on Stan's fridge, and I thought it was great. And there's a word I'm looking for, but I can't think of what that word is at the moment. It was inspiring for sure, but I've never forgotten that. So when you're talking about success, like what path are you going to choose for that, and whose advice are you willing to take in order to achieve those things? Is it by following people who are unsuccessful, who following the advice of people that it didn't work out for? Because there's a lot of negativity that could be attached to that. Like, for example, Midline had a record deal. It was a terrible record deal in hindsight. At the moment, it felt like, oh, this is the next step. But I would probably tell people not to accept record deals that were laid out like what we had. But we're still doing stuff. Maybe that's a bad example. But people who have tried things and then it didn't work out for them, and those people who look back at people who are excited about wanting to pursue something similar, they will say things like, "Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that." Find security in a day job of some sort, where you don't have those responsibilities. You show up on time, do your whatever is required of you, and then go home. And for that, I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. That could be very honorable for many, many people, and I think that it is. When you have a job that you're committed to, you show up every day, you know what you're going to get paid, an hourly rate or a salary or whatever. Maybe there's benefits attached to that. Those are all great things, and that could be success in paying your mortgage and providing for your family and all of those kinds of things. I'm not saying that isn't successful. I think there was a Jim Brewer comedy skit or part of his thing that said, "Look at me, I'm successful. I got leather pants." And super successful people strutting around. They got their, high fashion, high price clothing or whatever that might be. And then I think he was talking more about celebrities, but something like, and then they get like an exotic animal. Like, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to have leather pants and a pet kangaroo. Oh, that could be. Oh yeah, Mary says pastel clothes. Excuse me, I wasn't prepared for that. Uh, yeah, the pastel clothes and the sports car. um, so how do we go about achieving these successes? Well, having a plan, like what do you want to do, and then how you're going to get there, and then following advice of people who are there, who are encouraging you to say, yes, this is possible. You could do this. Let's see. Greg is weighing in. He says, I think that everyone's definition of true success varies. Of course it does. As our careers evolve, the goalposts tend to move. Yeah, that's a fact. So here's what I could bounce off that a little bit here, Greg. Yeah, what is success for you? It's going to be different for everybody because our situations can be similar, but our outcomes are might be wanting to be different. Our goals are different. And then what does it look like? And that's where I said earlier, like, where does contentment come into play? Like, maybe I don't achieve certain things that I would like to do, but does that mean I'm not successful? I don't think so. I think I have a fair amount of success right now if it all ended. But like I wrote, can you have success but still seeking more? So I think that's kind of the world I'm living in. It's a what did I write that? It's an evolutionary progression, I guess, to put a finer point on it, is I've achieved this and I've achieved that. I'm not saying I, like me, I as in, you can apply that to yourself. You achieve this thing, and then what's the next thing past that, and the next, and then you just keep building and building and building on that. And I think that's the world that I live in, is that evolutionary progression that and as what you said, Greg, as our careers evolve, the goalposts might tend to move. Yeah, because as you get further along in the process, you might see that, oh, this is really working out better than maybe I expected. So now we're going to focus on this other thing a little bit more. Or it could be the opposite direction too. Like, oh, it's not working out as I thought. So now I'm going to change my approach to those things. Like Bart said, success is at the bottom of a big pile of failures. So you got that going. So I have things that I still desire and want to accomplish as a drummer, and I'm really self-aware now of what those things are that need improvement. Extremely aware that it's all relationships. Like, it's highly unlikely that somebody's going to find me by mistake or by happenstance. I think for what I want to achieve, it's going to have to come through a personal recommendation from somebody, or I just build those relationships with the right people. And that's kind of what I'm figuring out and navigating right now. Is my life going to crumble to the ground if that doesn't happen? No, it's not. But that doesn't squash my internal spirit of, I feel like I still have something to contribute on a bigger scale, I guess. But does that mean I'm not content? No, I'm pretty content with what I'm doing, and I'm happy to be in the place that I am. I see my buddy Bart is here. Bart, I was just talking about you because something you said in your podcast yesterday really rang true for me, Bart, and that was um, success is found at the bottom of a big pile of failures. And Bart, I don't know if that is your saying or if you found that from somebody else. I was trying to find who authored that. If you could help me out on that, I'd appreciate it, because it's what a great saying. It's so true. So yeah, so it's an evolutionary progression. This success and career that path that I'm on, and Bart is another great connection that I've made recently, and he and I have a lot of things in common. But he teaches on another level from what I do, and it was really really inspiring, and it's given me the opportunity to kind of refocus how I teach drum lessons and who I can teach drum lessons to, and it's super cool. And that's just like another thing that's adding to what I would call success for myself. Um, and it's taking advantage of opportunities too that come along the way. Like I mentioned last week, that Mary and I had gone to the Taxi Road Rally in Los Angeles, and um, there's no guarantee when you go to something like that, like, oh, this is going to make my life better. There's no guarantee of it, but unless we went and just stayed in the hotel room the whole time, it's like you can't help but be affected by those people around you who are all working towards this same thing, and you're making connections and making lifelong friends. And um, not only is that beneficial to a career, but it's beneficial just to your life to have those people in your life now. It's really super cool. Um, so then the other thing is like, uh, I guess maybe reasons for success or stuff that you want to achieve is certain financial freedoms, or I have a great family. I have an awesome wife and 4 kids, and I love my family, and I would call that a success. um, is there a certain notoriety that you're looking for? Not so much for myself, but I just, like I said before, I feel like I have so much to contribute still as a drummer that I have these other things that I'm aiming for. Um, but here's a really good one that I was thinking of when I was writing the stuff out last night was, are you jealous of other people's success? Like, do you sit around and looking at somebody who's climbing that ladder, or who is maybe gaining some notoriety through whatever they're doing, and, well, look at them, like they didn't do any work to get there, or you start mumbling things under your breath, or or to your friends. But the truth is, those people are doing the work, and that's why they are having the success that you might be looking at, wondering how come that's not happening for me. I'm so much better. I'm so much more talented. I have. Well, if that were the case, uh, maybe you wouldn't be saying those things. It's a mindset, really. When those people are doing the work, and I think talent is definitely a factor. You have to have the ability. If you don't have the ability to some degree, I don't think you're going to move forward. um, do you have the right ambition, though? Do you have the right mindset to continue moving forward in those things? Um, Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie per se. I think that Mary might be turning into a Swiftie. um, I think unless you live under a rock, you're probably well aware of the Eras tour that she's had going for quite some time now, and I think now it's if I connected correctly to the information, that now she's doing other countries. She's done her U.S. dates, um, and she's making a lot of money. And let's see, my cousin is here, Danny. running the good race, sharing life with a partner that loves Jesus, being happy in whatever comes your way. Yeah, yeah, that's successful, and it's also contentment. And yeah, that's a great point. Mary says that she's in South America now. Yeah, so Taylor Swift, she's uh, she's done a lot, and I think that she has talent. She started at a very young age, getting some notoriety and making an impact. And she got the right people involved behind her to help move her career forward. And as it moved forward, it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And she hasn't been immune to the let's call them pitfalls of the music industry, where you know who owns your music. Those things can be um, difficult to navigate. So the music business, you gotta have some business sense uh, to take with you along the way. That's why I mean, I'm gonna get off topic here, but she did her whole Taylor's version, so she re-released her song. I don't know how all that worked, but she figured out a way. And so Taylor Swift has had all this huge success. Now, I'm not really interested in what your opinions of her songs are, but I think it's important to point out that she's done all this work and had the right people involved, and just turned into this great career that she has. And with that, of course, comes along with people wanting a piece of you every step that you go. It doesn't matter where she is. There's a camera pointed at her. There's people yelling at her to get to try to get her attention. And so, there's that to consider. I'm pretty sure that I'll never live in that world. Daddy, I'm gonna have to delete your comment when that comes around. You don't know what Taylor did, and that's a fact. Um, so she's obviously been very, very successful and has made a lot of money. And so I was just kind of doing some quick Google searches on her, and the amount of money that she's made to some people seems ridiculous. And so then they have their opinions on what she should do with that money, right? Well, so now people want to punish her for her success, because in their eyes, they think that she either doesn't deserve it, or what kind of person needs that kind of money? Um, what kind of person needs a new car, or a house like that? That's a whole different world this person is living in compared to myself. People demanding that she give her money to charity. These people have no idea how much money she gives away or keeps. They're just forming opinions out of thin air, and it's completely ridiculous. So now somebody that's achieved a certain level of success, you've got all these people that want to punish her for that. You hate people who are champions. You hate the quarterback who makes a touch, making touchdown is the winning team. You hate that? It seems completely ridiculous. So, be careful about what opinions you form about people that you don't even know. You don't even know. It's those are dangerous things to think and say. And so while you're in your pursuit of success, just know that there's going to be people jealous of whatever success that you have, and they're going to come along and say something. Like I said, when I started this whole haters going to hate, yeah, Mark, 100%. Greg says the Nickelback syndrome. It's easy to hate successful successful groups happen to Creed too. Yeah, it seemed like there was a time there for a while, Greg, that a group of people started hating on Nickelback, and then it became a thing to like hate on Nickelback. And then if you liked Nickelback and you got around people who didn't like it, you were just like, "Mm." um, yeah. And I think maybe is it Chad Kroger is the singer guy? I think he may have said something or did something that rubbed people the wrong way. That might have sparked all of that, and I think that might be similar for Creed as well. I think Scott Stapp had maybe mouthed off in some kind of way that um, caused those things to. So that another thing, is like once you're in the public eye to that extent, how you behave and things that you say, either on stage or off, it's going to have an effect on people to some degree. Saying a lot. I don't mean to. Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say. So, for example, I've been posting these drum videos every week, and right now I'm 2 weeks into this series called the 20 Drum Beats Every Drummer Should Know. They're very simple. They're extremely common. So I'm posting these videos, and for the most part, they're getting a lot of views and a lot of great compliments. And I think drummers who really know what's going on, they've messaged me and said, "Man, the way that you're playing these and you're straight to the point, and the way that you explain them is very, very easy to understand." I've got beginning drummers who have messaged me and commented on them that they're saving all of these in some way, and that they're playing along to them. And then through that, you get people commenting like, these drum beats are stupid. These drum beats are too simple. Leave the easy stuff to the beginners. And it's kind of funny because you can go back and you can check on some of these people making these comments and go, wow, good on you for posting videos of yourself playing, but you know, you might want to clean your house first. Tom. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and Tom, I'm going to message you here later. I don't know if you still have some NAM connections that maybe Mary and I could both take advantage of. So I'm gonna hit you up. Yeah. So anyway, and I've got videos. I'm posting those same videos on TikTok and on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. Those are the only platforms that I use. I can't keep up with every one of them, but there are some people that will post really super nasty comments. I just simply I laugh and delete them. But it's funny because I'm losing track of why I brought that up. But yeah, James, there's an audience for all videos. Yes, and I'm sure that you too have experienced some not so kind people out there, but I would say the vast majority of people watching what you do and what I do really do appreciate it. And so James here will post videos to guess the song based off the drum beat that he's playing, and recently it's involved cowbell, and man, it's some of those really got me stumped, but I love watching them. I watch every single one of them, and because I want to support my friend for one, and James's content is great. So yeah, those are the people I'm paying attention to, and I don't know how that relates to success. I got lost in my own story. In some of these videos, I've expressed my opinions on things that I like or don't like, and it's just that, my opinion. people are going to do what they do to whatever level they can, within the context or within the knowledge that they have. And I'm always seeking more knowledge so that I can improve what I do. And if some of what I say helps, that's great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Tom, the midline video. I'm if you guys saw the last uh midline video for Ghost, we were super proud of that. And Mary, my wife, the producer, she did all of that, and turned out great. This thing is a totally different song, totally different vibe, and the environment's different. And yeah, we're just, the midline band is so happy just to do some stuff again. And we're putting feelers out there to see if there's any interest in the band still. um but yeah, number one, we're having fun doing what we do. And we're just stoked to be playing music. Timber, where are you doing that video? So Timber, we filmed our latest video on this past Sunday at the Howell Station Event Center, which is the ginormous barn that's in the Avamore subdivision on the way to Horseshoe Bend. So it's on the north end of the property, that big ginormous red barn. If you've ever seen that, that's where we filmed it. I was able to make arrangements with the homeowners association up there to get into that facility and use it. And turned out great. Looks cool, he says. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the way the sun was shining through the slats in the building really created some cool effects. So looking forward to sharing that with you guys soon. Mary's got a huge undertaking with this video, and so we don't have a release date yet, because we are discussing some stuff with some radio promotion thing, and so we're trying to figure out how all that's going to work. And if we can make a release date tie in together, then we'll have a better grasp on when that will be available. So coming soon.